everybody. How are you? My name is Jennifer Morris, and I think I'm live. I'm just going to make sure that I'm actually live here. So, waiting for Facebook to tell me I'm live. There we are. Okay. Hello, my name is Jennifer Morris. I am actually one of the members of the Friends of Balls Bridge and Little Lakes Incorporation. I'm in charge of mostly social media and helping to stop this gravel pit from going in on the Little Lakes Road. This is a very important live video that I'm sending out here today to you guys to watch. So as you're tuning in, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, please comment. It helps to boost this post. It helps more people to see it. Okay, so comment, say hello, say where you are tuning in from, and let us know that you don't want this gravel pit to go forward. So I'm going to read to you something that we are sending out in email. It's actually in the text body of this live video. It's an action-packed little document for you guys, little blurb that we are hoping and asking your help and support on. We need your help and support, guys, to stop this gravel pit from going forward. And there's a critical decision that is happening on June the 21st at the ACW, Asheville Colborne Wawanosh Council meeting. So I'm going to read this with you because your urgent attention is needed. Please, please, please save the date, June 21st at 9 o'clock in the morning, so that you can be part of this important decision and help stop this gravel pit from coming into play. So basically, Friends of Balls Bridge and Little Lakes would like to thank you for your support, for everything that you've done, whether it's been writing letters, signing petitions, showing up at meetings, making donations, whatever it is. And nearly a year has gone by, and now we are asking for your support again, and I'll explain why. Okay, so Lobo Sand Gravel, which is the company that wants to put this gravel pit in, is actually going to last summer applied to ACW to have the land in question beside Little Lakes Road to be rezoned so that they can mine a below the water table gravel pit. It's called a below the water table mining operation, aggregate operation. So we put up a huge petition, over 3,000 signatures. We had over 150 objection letters that were sent to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, MNRF, and we had some amazing presentations put forth at a public meeting in July. And then we heard nothing until about a month ago when we learned that Lobo Sand and Gravel had done a lot of work on the application, making amendments and making all kinds of extensive resubmissions, and they resubmitted this recently. And then on the Friday before a Tuesday meeting, this was the May 17th meeting, we learned from the planner that the planner had recommended approving the rezoning application and that ACW were going to vote on it on the May 17th date. So we decided we were going to ask for what's called a deferral, which means that we basically buy ourselves some time. And we were able to get that. A couple of the councilors voted in favor for that, so that was awesome. So we got a deferral, and what's happening now is that the deferral was for June 21st. So basically because we had not been informed or notified or included in the process of all of this along the way. So again, this application for rezoning, which would basically allow Lobo Sand and Gravel to move forward with their mine, is going to be voted on June 21st at the 9 a.m. meeting. So in the actual planner's report and in the recommendations, it was concluded that no public comments were received on the application, so there was no effect on decision. I don't know about you, but that's kind of a slap in the face because we made tons of public submissions at the public meeting and letters and whatever, so we were kind of shocked about that. And we know that we have over 150 letters to MNRF, and that many people also sent letters to ACW objecting to the rezoning. So, and we also had that petition with over 3,000 signatures. So that, you know, we're just kind of surprised that their comments were that they have received no public objection. It just basically kind of made us feel like we weren't being seen, and all of the effort that you put forth, that we put forth, that everybody put forth was just basically ignored. So clearly, I mean, you guys, you know that the community at large is really against this proposal of having this gravel pit in this amazing area. And you know, we have so many objections that speak to how people from all walks of life value the unique Ballsbridge, historical Ballsbridge area, and the pristine Little Lakes area and the Little Lakes Road for all the reasons that we've gone over many, many, many times. And we want to preserve this, and we want to protect it, and we want to be able to leave this for our children and their children and so on. So it's so important that on June 21st at 9 o'clock a.m. you do a few things, because this is when ACW Council will vote on this rezoning. And as I mentioned, if they vote yes in favor of the rezoning, which would change the zoning from its current agricultural zoning to extractive, that now basically gives the green light for Lobo to get their license from the ministry to proceed with the gravel pit. Not what we want. Oh, there's my phone telling me it's time for bed. Anyway, so what we want to make sure of, guys, is that we have as many people out to this meeting as possible. We want to make sure that we really physically show up, not just call in on Zoom, but actually show up for this meeting. Now, if there's some reason, really great reason, that you can't show up in person, I encourage you to get on the webinar, which is live. However, I will say that it does not have the impact that you think it might have just to be on the webinar, okay? So if you do plan on going on the meeting virtually, then I would encourage you to actually register with the clerk, whose email is in the text body, so that they know that you will actually be on, okay? Because then that way you will show as a participant. So that's important. But here's the thing, this is one of those times where I would say go in your calendar right now, get your phone and put in your calendar, go to June 21st, 9 o'clock in the morning, ACW meeting, and show up. This is where your presence matters so much, okay? Whether you wrote a letter or not, show up. Bring your friends, bring your families, tell your neighbors, tell everybody to show up, because this is important that we have as many people there as possible. So that's number one. Your presence is so important, and it shows council just how opposed we are to having this mine go in this place. It's a public meeting. Everybody has the right to attend from all walks of life. It doesn't matter who you are, you can attend. It doesn't even matter if you live in ACW or not, okay? If you live in Goderich, if you live in Kincardine, if you live in Seaforth or Clinton or Central Huron or North Perth or Central Perth or wherever, show up, okay? The more people that come, the better. You do not need to live in ACW. I just want to be very clear about that. Number two is, if you want, you have the right to make a presentation at council. And if you did write a letter, what I would encourage you to do is register with the clerk. All you need to do is send her an email. You need to send that email by June the 16th, which is, I believe, the Thursday. Let me just double check that date. The Thursday before the actual, it's Thursday at noon. So let's say June the 15th, you have to send an email to clerk@acwtownship.ca, I believe, yeah, .ca, clerk@acwtownship.ca, and you need to say, I wish to speak at the council meeting on the subject of the Little Lakes gravel pit on Tuesday, June 21st at 9 o'clock in the morning. And you can say, I plan on talking about this. You don't need to give them the whole presentation. just whatever. And then if they have any issues, they will write you back. And then just show up. And then what you could do is you can just get up and you can read the letter you wrote. Okay. And the more people that do this, the more likely it is that we will have actually a meeting that will be dedicated just for this topic, which is what it really deserves, so that all voices can be heard. So that's if you want to make a formal presentation, you need to register with the clerk. The other thing you can do is you do not need to register with a clerk, and you can just show up, and every single person that shows up there has the right to get up and speak for 5 minutes on any topic they want in any way they want. So you don't need to pre-register with a clerk. So if your letter is relatively short or you just want to say a few words, that would be a great option. Show up, get up to on the microphone when the mayor says, hey, does anyone have anything else to say? You can put up your hand, go up to the microphone, you say, please vote no against this gravel pit, Mayor McNeil and Council, I implore you to vote no. And you can just say that. Okay, you can say why you want them to vote no. You can give your own personal reasons, and that would be awesome. You have 5 minutes to do that. Then lastly, if you wrote a letter, or even if you didn't write a letter, you have the right to write another letter. Okay, and so a lot of people initially, when all of this started last year and we were in a huge letter writing campaign, we were told, write to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry and write to Escher Planning, who's the group that is doing a lot of the legwork for Lobo Sand and Gravel. There was nothing about writing our objections to ACW Council, but some of you did and some of you didn't. What we want you to do, what we're asking you to do, what will have a huge impact is if you take your letter that you already wrote and just change the two to ACW Council, Mayor McNeil and ACW Council, and then in the comments, I have listed all of their emails, okay? So that's really all you have to do is just resend your letter, state why you don't want this gravel pit to occur, and that's it. And if you didn't write a letter, because the more letters they get, the more impact it will have. So show up at the meeting on June 21st at 9 o'clock. Write a letter or rewrite your letter. Tell all your friends and family to show up at this meeting. The more the better. You do not need to live in ACW. You can live anywhere. If you absolutely cannot be on the meeting, then for sure, register as a participant with a clerk and get on the live feed and register. Make sure that they know you're there. Don't just tune into the webinar because they don't know you're there and then they don't know how many people actually are opposed. So I know we're in this kind of culture still coming out of this deadly virus that was traveling around the world, and a lot of people still aren't comfortable with getting out. This is the time, guys, to put those fears aside because this is important. This is the future of this area. This is something that is important for the future of, enjoyment of people who will live here, your children and their children and so on. It is so important that we show up in droves and that we show the ACW Council the right thing to do, which is to vote no against this zoning change that they want to have happen, that Lobo Sand and Gravel, who is a company not even from this area, who wants to come in and do this below the water table gravel pit, which will have some serious implications for all of us and our future generations. So if you have questions, feel free to message me directly. Feel free to comment on this video and feel free to get in touch with anyone who is on the Friends of Ballsbridge and Little Lakes Committee, myself, Rebecca Garrett, Elizabeth Vandenbroek, Debbie Gillespie, Richard Vernon, Daryl Ball, and Kathy Young. We're all here. There's other people and I'm going to forget their names. But anyway, we're all here, guys, to help, and we all desperately want this to be stopped, and we need everybody to show up. So please, please, please do your best to come out on the 21st of June at 9 o'clock in the morning to ACW Council Chambers. With that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Tag your friends in this. It's a private group. You will not be able to share this. So I will be downloading this video and hopefully it'll work, and I will be posting it to YouTube, and I will have a YouTube link that I will be sharing with everybody as well. So if you prefer to watch videos rather than read things, which some people do, then that's great. So hopefully we'll see you all on the 21st. If you have any issues with writing your letters or need help, just reach out. We are here. All right, take care, everybody. Have a wonderful evening and get out to that area, Ballsbridge and Little Lakes, and enjoy it and just see how spectacular it really truly is if you haven't been there in a while. I encourage you all to do that. All right, have a good one. Good night.